Hey guys, Irox Gamer here and welcome to the first episode of Gaming News this week. Today we are taking a look at the PlayStation 5 reveal, Modern Warfare Season 4 and a major update to CSGO and much more. We do this show every week, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch the next one. Sony's PlayStation 5 reveal event blew away gamers around the world with its focus on gameplay from interesting titles. It also blew away with its design. Some like it, some hate it, but one thing is clear. Sony have entered the next gen arena with an interesting and innovative approach, unlike Microsoft's Xbox Series X gameplay reveal event. Sony focused on showing gameplay instead of pre-rendered cinematics or talking head segments that distracted from the content. The hour and 15-minute long broadcast was packed with footage and trailers of game after game, every little cheesy testimonials or marketing. But it was honestly refreshing to watch an event so focused on the actual fun content. I think Microsoft and many other companies could certainly learn something from Sony's presentation. Here, of course, it wasn't all sunshine in alternate dimension rainbows. The event started off with a reveal for GTA 5. Yeah, as it is the game that launched 7 years ago, and Rockstar are porting it to the PS5 with improved visuals or something. It's not clear how much of an upgrade it will be, but the point is the game is making its way to the third generation of consoles. As for some of the big reveals for the event, both Battlefield and Silent Hill were missing in action. There's been a ton of speculation suggesting that DICE are ramping up for a Battlefield reveal soon. They recently added all Battlefield titles to Steam after being exclusive to EA's Origin client for many years. They also updated the key art on all of their social media accounts to a generic Battlefield 4 themed design. But the PlayStation 5 reveal event came without mention of the franchise. Likewise, rumors about a new Silent Hill game have been buzzing for months. They come from industry insiders leaking info about a soft reboot being in the works. With the original game's creator attached, supposedly it will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive and is being developed by Sony Japan. However, again, nothing has been revealed as of yet. Now, of course, we can't ignore the design of PlayStation 5 itself. In a world dominated by black boxes and phones with rounded corners, the PlayStation 5's design certainly stands out. It's got a very organic shape to it that reminds people of that utopian future we see in so many sci-fi worlds. And also a frat boy with a popped color. If anything, it's proven to be a bit of a divisive design. But I think it's clear. Sony are making a statement with both their design and the games they have chosen to showcase. This wasn't just a sizzle reel of AAA games running at 4K with ray tracing. The reveal event was loaded with games from indie studios and studios with long histories of creating interesting games that steer clear of the beaten path. Sony are embracing the experimental side of gaming, and honestly, it's refreshing to see such a big focus on something other than your typical Call of Duty or Halo title. That said, Sony will be revealing some major AAA exclusives as we get closer to the PlayStation 5's holiday release window. As for new specs or hardware details, Sony confirmed that there would be two versions of the PlayStation 5, a standard one with an optical drive for games and a digital one with no disk drive. Pricing is still unknown, but almost certainly the digital model will come at a reduced price. With more and more consumers having access to high speed internet, the need to go to the store or order a physical copy of the game is becoming less and less. And this version of console represents that part of the market. Microsoft already sells the diskless Xbox One model. Modern Warfare Season 4 has launched to a somewhat tepid reason because by players the new weapons and the maps are all nice, but they are not massive additions. The Game Pass seasons have offered. That said, it's still a welcome update that adds a ton of new cosmetics and mixes of Warzone with something interesting new mechanics. If you want a full overview of everything that Season 4 added, be sure to check out my upcoming video on it. The long and short of it is the two new weapons are both standouts and their respective classes, but not to an extreme. The new maps are a remake of Scrapyard and a 2 vs 2 gunfight map called Trench. There's also 3 new events in Warzone that reduce store prices, respawn dead players, and you extract weapon blueprints. They occur randomly during matches, so you might see one or all of them in a single match. Later in the season, we'll be getting the Barrett 50 caliber and a night map called Cheshire Park. Standard multiplayer becomes free to play for Warzone folks this weekend. So if you are looking to do a deep dive on the season 4 update, be sure to check that out. The major controversy surrounding Modern Warfare these days seems to be the size of its update. They're pretty much always these massive 50 gigabyte downloads or even more. Once it's downloaded, the Season 4 update only makes the total size about 4 gigabytes bigger, but you still had to download 44 gigabytes. Infinity Ward says they realize these files are a problem for players and are doing everything they can to shrink them. CSGO's latest update added a major feature that should help improve player visibility issues caused by the game's recent character skin cosmetics. It is called Boost Player Contrast. The new setting is enabled by default and attempts to separate players visually from backgrounds. They otherwise would blend into the effect is subtle, but the side-by-side comparison makes it clear how much it actually helps. It actually boosts the contrast of the player models, sharpens their edges, adds a slight blur to the textures behind them, and also gives them a contrast halo that helps their outline be more visible overall. The effect improves things for the better. It's a much more elegant solution than Valorant's red outline and gets the job done without being distracting or ugly. If done improperly, this effect could really take away from the game. But if anything, I would like to see this kind of option be used more in multiplayer games. The long awaited remake of the cult hit Game 13 finally has a release date. The remake was teased last year and finally has a proper gameplay trailer. It launches on November 10th for all platforms and looks to be a total remake from the ground up. The original game's iconic cel-shaded comic book stylings seems to have been replaced with a slightly more realistic look, but it still resembles the original game's feel. Hopefully, the developers have translated the now 17-year-old game well enough for it to be held up against today's standards. Okay, and the last news is Mafia's Definitive Edition's narrative trailer just got released, and it looks fantastic with improved visuals and a complete remake to character models and everything. So I'll be looking forward for the release. Okay, and that wraps it up for today's episode of Gaming News this week. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next week's episode. Until then, iRoxGamer signing off. Thank you very much.